but I am live and I have an announcement to make that I just decided to make this an informal thing because, frankly, I don't think most people even care. So I just want to get this out of the way and get it off my chest. So I have been contemplating this decision for a long time, and I have decided that I'm going to be officially moving over to Patreon. So what's going to happen with this channel is many different things. I know I have teased this for quite a while, and I know that a lot of people probably even think, well, she said this before in the past, but she hasn't actually done it. Well, I'm going to do it. I've already been in the process of doing it. I've already been making the official announcements on my community posts, but most people don't actually read my posts, and most people don't care to read posts. I've noticed this. As a content creator, it's understandable, but it still hurts a little bit, but it's just because it's one of the ways that us content creators can easily give updates to fans, to viewers, to people who support the community. Um but the reality is I've been outgrowing YouTube for a long time. I feel that it needs to be discussed, it needs to be talked about. Now, am I going to officially be leaving YouTube for good? No. However, there are going to be major changes that I am dead serious as a heart attack that this is going to happen. So let's get the big conflict out of the room. I'm not getting paid on YouTube anymore. YouTube has completely ruined my state of AdSense revenue to the point where I'm not getting views. I mean, when I do get views, it's moderate, but it's extremely low compared to even when it used to be. When I first started YouTube, my channel, I was getting massive amount of hits. I was getting hundreds of thousands of views, thousands in the average constantly. So the thing is, oh, hey, Eddie. So what, and hi, Tammy. So the thing is when I first started, I was doing YouTube. When I first started, I was doing it very naively, not understanding what would happen when I would keep focusing on trends. I didn't understand that. Most content creators, they do this, and I understand that some people even made the mention on my community posts, thankfully, and I'm grateful for them. They even made a comment about saying, well, you're not really talking about things that are really trending, or you're talking about things that are trending. So it seems to always be like, well, you're talking about things that are trending, but then you're not talking about things that are trending. So when you're talking about something that's trending, it is really up in like conversation, and people are really wanting to talk about it or watch it or hear it or whatever, and then it floats away and it's gone. But then there's people who would say, well, you're not talking about anything that's trending, so that's why you're not getting any hits, that's why you're not getting any views or whatever. Both can be true at the same time. And the thing is back when I first started YouTube, I was getting thousands of views. People don't even understand that. I was getting so many fucking views. And no, those views were not paid. I was getting thousands of views. I was getting on average about 50 to 100,000 views per video when I first started. And that was a huge success. But the thing was, over time, when I stopped giving what the algorithm wanted and started focusing on what I cared about, and started focusing on topics that I think are important that aren't being discussed, which again are topics that are not trending, that's when you start losing viewership. That's when the algorithm says, okay, well, no one's interested, so we're not gonna show your video to anybody. And this happens pretty much constantly, to the point where, hi Jake, constantly, to the point where that is where it becomes so disheartening, because you put your passion, I put my heart and soul into every single fucking video. I mean, I put my heart and soul into that Anita video, and no one's watching it. And they really should fucking watch that video, because that video is exposing this person who is deliberately, in my professional psychic opinion, scamming her fans with an MLM scam. That is my personal opinion. Do I think it's a fact? I think it could be, but I don't know. But my evidence looks like it's possible. But there's so many other things when it comes down to it. It's not just that. It's really about the fact that my desire for my work is to go back to being grounded in what matters to me the most, and giving my viewers what they have come to me for in the first place. I want to be back into what I give a fuck about, what I care about. I care about podcast vibes. I care about conversations that last over an hour. I care about talking about shit that most people don't give two shits about. I care about that deep conversation, not that shit that people want to hear, and not that give you a happy feeling at the end of the day. I'm not talking about even being fear-mongering or being a Debbie Downer. It's just about the realism of the dualism of nature and energy of itself, of consciousness, of spirituality, of love, of healing, all that good shit. But also about the realities of hauntings and paranormal experiences. There's so many things that I really want to get back into on such a deep level. And this brightness, sorry, and that's the thing. It's like, I have decided that YouTube is just not it for me. I woke up this morning with this epiphany, like, wait a minute. I kick out assholes who are douchebags all the time. I even have kicked out family out of my life who have been the worst of the worst to me in my life. I have no problem kicking out toxic people. Why am I still not doing that for YouTube? And that's when it occurred to me, it's like, I'm practically selling my soul for the devil. YouTube has, and this is just my opinion, YouTube has been incredibly infiltrated by the Illuminati. And that in of itself is one of the reasons why, if you've noticed, why all my videos on demons are going so much better than any of my positive shit. Why? It should be pretty obvious, but people don't want to talk about that. Now, but if you're in like the Christian community and you're talking about Jesus and all that shit, then that, again, that dualistic nature, then that will do better. But the problem is when you're not in either one of those, it becomes way harder for people to really find you in the midst of it, and it becomes almost impossible for your voice to be heard. And people just aren't going to give a shit. The other issue with YouTube that I have a problem with is that naturally, and you'll see this constantly on YouTube, where if the video has a lot of views, people will automatically want to be a part of it. They want to be a part of that audience. They want to be in the know. They want to be a part of that collection of whatever's trending, that conversation, whatever. What has more views typically gets more views, just like when someone has more money, they continually to make more money, and it's just a vicious cycle. And so people that are already small, they're continuing to stay small because no one's giving them a fucking chance, and it becomes nearly impossible. Now, I'm not implying in any way that I haven't had chances. I've had podcast interviews with Jim Harold, which was incredible. I really loved and appreciated that. Even with John, the Newfoundland podcaster, he was great. I've had other interviews with other YouTube collaborators in the past. I've had all kinds of experiences that really pushed my message to the forefront for other people in a way that I couldn't have done on my own. And that was something that was so groundbreaking for me on such a big level, and it made me realize how much community really is a big deal, because without collaborating with other content creators, without other content creators supporting other content creators, that makes you constantly in the dark. But when I'm one of those controversial, which is insane, being a person who doesn't work with demons considers me controversial is fucking insane. And that's where it's like, is this really the community that I want to be a part of? And the answer is no. And I've been contemplating this for a very long time. It came to the point where I couldn't stop thinking about it. I can't stop. It just constantly is in my mind. And now I'm comfortable with this decision and know that this is what I want to do. So there's a lot of other things that I really want to say. I know I don't owe anyone any justification. I'm probably going to delete this live over time, but I think I might keep it up for a little while just because I like sitting here and talking with you in a live, but it's also because this is a business decision. This isn't personal. Okay, so this is about what is best for me creatively in an energetic space for me to feel comfortable with where I'm uploading and processing the information as I'm creating a video. Because here's the thing, what I've noticed this major, every single video I'm difference I make for YouTube, I am crying my eyes out. And it's emotional to talk about because I know the video is going to bomb no matter what I do. And I don't want to cry on camera, but it really pisses me off that it gets to that point where people will sit there and tell me shit about, oh, you've got shit content. You can go fuck yourself because I put in more work than most of these shitholes that I have commented on and reacted to. People like Proving Demons and other people like Anita, their content is such fucking crap and I don't even give a fuck. I don't care how mean this sounds. The evidence is in the content, okay? Whether people want to admit that or not, the evidence is there. And I think my phone's getting too hot. So I'm going to take my case off real quick. Okay, there we go. My phone's getting too hot again, sorry. But honestly, I'm not apologetic about it. I don't give a shit. Okay, I don't care. I'm not going to apologize. I'm not going to say I'm sorry. Oh, that's not very love and light. Yeah, I know, but it's also called dark energy because it's the fucking truth that people don't want to fucking acknowledge. And I just don't give a shit about being nice to people who don't fucking deserve it. When you scam people and you get in your karma and then people say, oh, it's unfair. No, that's just called fucking karma. And that's just the way that it is. But here's the thing, it comes back to people who keep enabling other content creators and not looking at the truth for what it is because they're constantly getting their ego rubbed and that's all they care about. People don't want to be enlightened. People want to be entertained. People don't want to be inspired. They want to be constantly, rubbed the wrong way with their ego and their fear and their pride and their vanity because they don't want to acknowledge things that could be hindering other things. And the fact of the matter is, I've put my heart and soul into this channel to the point where I know for a fact that if I continue down this path, I'm going to probably end up with a mental breakdown. And it's not about the fact that I hate content creating. I fucking love making videos. That's why I put my heart and soul into making my videos. And the reason why my videos take so long to upload in between is because I am constantly working on them for weeks on end. For one video, just the Anita video, it took like a month to make. And the biggest reason was all of the evidence that I had to collect, the information that I had to subscribe to as far as like getting the information, collecting it, scripting it, writing it, rewriting it, deleting it, rewriting it, putting everything together. It becomes extremely tedious and very, very mentally exhausting after a while, to the point where it's like, I don't think I can even continue doing this right now because this is just too much. And I hope my phone doesn't like die on me because this is like hella hot right now. So I think I'm gonna unplug it for a second. Maybe that's what it's doing. But I'm pretty sure, and that's the other thing, my lives don't even get fucking views anymore. Even if I do a live during the daytime or at night, it doesn't matter. My lives don't even get views anymore. And it's because, again, the algorithm is not pushing me even to my subscribed audience, even to people who have subscribed to me, people who are, you know, have their notifications set, people that are even members. They don't even get notified when I'm even online. Like, a lot of them don't. And if that doesn't say I'm shadow banning, I don't know what the fuck does. But the point is, and I'm not trying to sit here and give you guys like a poor me situation. The fact is, I'm actually in a really good headspace, believe it or not, with being done with the bullshit and putting my foot down and walking out the other door and saying, bye, I'm done. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to be right now what I'm doing on Patreon, and I've been uploading a shitload of videos on Patreon already. A lot of you guys don't even know that. I have a lot of tiers available for different price ranges, but the starting price range for video access for all the content is $11.11. And then the tiers after that for other support and other promotional, other positive things that you can get access to. But the thing that has to do with the content is more so based off the fact that right now, what I've been doing is taking all of my older content. So all of my stuff that was in my hard drive, all my really old videos that I had on YouTube that I had deleted before my rebranding, I still had all those. I had them in my backup. So what I am doing right now, and I've been doing this for the past few days, is picking the right ones that I feel still relate to messages that I feel in alignment with, and then uploading them to YouTube, to Patreon. So that's like, and I'm calling them, the collections are like the Descended Vault, the Ascended Vault. I'm also going to be adding many other videos that are like older Light Warrior news content, all that content that is not on YouTube, that will never be back on YouTube. So that's all on Patreon now. And I'm still uploading. That includes my podcast interviews, that includes collabs, that includes other content that I just have in my hard drive that I've never shown. And so I'm going to be really working on really benefiting the patrons a lot more. So what I'm also going to be doing is working on, once all of that is done, then what I'm going to do is go into YouTube, and I think I'm going to start doing this even tonight, because I think honestly, one of the, and I hate to say it this way, but I'm just going to get it out there. I need to give you guys a little bit of a scare. And what I mean by that is you need to know how serious I am about this. I'm all about action. I'm not just about words. I'm going to be going through some of my content tonight, and I'm going to be deleting videos. You're not going to know which ones, and I'm going to be deleting them permanently and moving them to Patreon. So, and that's going to be happening today. I'm going to be starting that now, because those content, some of them, and I want to be specific, there will be some content like, you know, I'm not going to give you any more information on that, because there's still a lot to go through with the content and to really decipher, decide, and analyze everything. But what I am going to say is that the videos that have the longer video views, like the higher views, those are going to stay on YouTube. So like Signs of Demons Attacking You and my Light Warrior, Light Worker videos and other certain topics, like those will stay on YouTube. But the videos that just are not getting enough views, they're not doing very well, or also my personal vlog or astral experiences, all of my astral videos will go on Patreon. And so that's the other decision that I've made. I'm not sure about payment video. I might actually keep that one still on YouTube, just because that one has been doing so well. And it has been helping a lot of people, despite the bad rep it gets. It's been helping a lot. So I will answer some of your guys' questions and comments, but that's really what's going to be happening. It's going to be happening. Like, I've already been going through all of my content. I've already been uploading a shitload of content to Patreon. And believe it or not, that's the other thing, is YouTube is officially no longer paying me anymore. So even the people that are members right now on YouTube, you might as well just cancel your membership because you're not paying me. It's all going to YouTube. I'm dead serious when I say this. YouTube is not paying me. So you guys are just giving money to YouTube, to the $60 billion company. I'm not getting a dime. So YouTube, I mean, this is like theft at this point. Like, why are they even able to do that? They're like, oh, we only take a portion of your membership. No, sis, you're taking the entire fucking portion. I'm not getting a goddamn dime. So even my members right now, you guys are paying like $10, $11 a month or whatever, $5 a month. I'm not getting a dime. Literally, I just saw YouTube and I'm only making 21 cents on YouTube right now. 21 cents. And even if it were to change, it's not going to matter because I'm already decided I'm done. I'm not allowing this bullshit. This is such bullshit. I've been talking very heavily with Thoth about this. I've been astral projecting and seeing him very, very commonly, almost literally fucking daily. And he's him and some other Pleiadians, other of my spirit guides, have been helping me with this whole transition, and they keep trying to be supportive. But one of the biggest things that they do keep saying is that this transition is a very painful process. It's like the death and rebirth kind of process. But once this process is over with, they said that I will start seeing a success over time, and it will be gradual, and that this will be one of the best financial decisions I've made in a very long time. And I really hope they're right about this, because there is some part of me where I'm like, maybe I made a huge fucking mistake doing this. But at the same time, like I said, when I upload to YouTube, I have the worst anxiety. I cry constantly. I literally stress out. I'll be in bed, just bed rotting every single day, just one, because I'm exhausted, and trying to just mentally get out of that mental funk of realizing I just put in all of this fucking work for nothing. No one's even watching the goddamn video. Not even, I mean, I'm not even exaggerating. I was even checking, and apparently YouTube on the app for creators, they have this new feature. And what this feature is you can actually click, you know how like they have like in the chat, and they'll have these little blocks, like these little options where it says like top or newest comments, things like that. Well, they have another one that says subscriber comments. Nearly every video I click on, I have like 0 subscriber comments on most of my videos. So it's like, okay, so even my subscribers are not even commenting. Don't get me wrong, I'm getting like 2 or 3 or whatever, but it's not nearly what it should be for the odds. So it's like, okay, so even my subscribers aren't even commenting, and that's okay. I'm not saying that that's like a requirement, but here's the thing. The problem with that, though, is because, again, it goes back to engagement, and that's how YouTube is operated. And a lot of people don't understand this, that views definitely matter, likes definitely matter, but comments is one of those ways that helps the YouTubers' videos to get more engagement. Because if people even hate the video and comment, or like the video and comment, it doesn't matter. Or even if they're indifferent, and they're just sharing their story or whatever, or their feelings about something, it still pushes the video to have engagement. And so this allows YouTube in the algorithm to know and to detect, oh, this video is getting engagement, whether it's good or bad, it doesn't matter. It will continue to push the video to other subscribers. But if subscribers don't engage, whether they're subscribed or not, it's irrelevant. And that's the thing that people don't know about content creating, is that the subscriber count is an illusion. You can have thousands and millions of subs, but if you're not getting the engagement, you ain't getting paid, period. You're not getting the engagement, so you're not getting paid. And And that's a huge dilemma for many, many content creators, not just me. And the thing is, so that's what it's like when I'm uploading to YouTube. But then the second I started uploading to Patreon, it's like an amazing change that I forgot could even be possible at all. And my stomach's growling, I'm hungry. But my I was actually really shocked at the difference of the feeling. And that's something intuitively you really want to listen to when you're doing things, when you're being a part of things, whatever it is, intuitively you want to listen to your body and to your feelings. That's your divine message receiver. And what I noticed is when I'm uploading to Patreon, it's the exact opposite. It's I have no stress, I have no anxiety, I am just excited that it's out. I feel, just this satisfaction, this relief of like knowing that even if no one is watching the content, even if no one is liking or commenting, even if the video gets no views ever, but as long as those patrons are supporting me on the content of that tier, which is Witchy Wisdom, I'm still getting paid. And it doesn't change. And that is the thing that I didn't know how that worked with Patreon. And so when I started realizing that, it's like, why are we not all on Patreon? This is insane. Patreon doesn't fucking screw their content creators. They're actually showing appreciation for them. The best part about Patreon is you can decide how you get paid and when you get paid. YouTube doesn't fucking do that. YouTube tells you the day you're going to get paid, which can screw me over constantly because the day I get paid is on the 21st of every month with YouTube. Well, used to, right? But that always sucks because if the day hits on a weekend, I don't get fucking paid. And then I have to wait for 3 days or 2-3 business days, even after that fact, in order to see that paycheck come in. Whereas with Patreon, doesn't matter what day of the week, that money goes in my fucking bank account anytime I want it to. And I can't understand how people aren't raving more about Patreon. This is insane. And Patreon just came out with an app, which I'm shocked it took them so long, but don't get me wrong, I'm a little nervous about Patreon because now they're starting to show views, but they're hidden. So they're only showing me the view count. But it makes me wonder, I just hope they're not turning into another fucking YouTube. I'm a little worried about that, I'll be honest. But right now, it's all like in this grace period where I feel like this is exactly where I need to be for my mental space and for me to continue to enjoy the love of creating without the dread of uploading. Does that make sense? Because that's where I'm at now. I have so much anxiety uploading to YouTube and I know goddamn well that's not healthy. And I don't think anyone should have to suffer that way. I don't think any content creator should have to feel, no matter who they are, they should never have to feel like this. It used to be about content about supporting the smaller creator. And the problem with YouTube now is that it's all about big fucking productions, big marketing agencies, all that shit. And that's not what YouTube was supposed to be meant for. And it turned into a multi-billion-dollar company rather than a community. And that is the biggest illusion and culprit and demise for the content creators. Content creators are not being acknowledged, they're not being supported. And unless they have already a really big fucking production, or they do a lot of like crazy stupid shit that gets people to be hooked. You see the same thing with like streamers on Twitch. They're doing crazy shit just to have that view, or you're seeing other people doing a lot of clickbait on YouTube or whatever, and even on TikTok you're seeing a lot of that. And that's where I've also decided that I've also noticed that 90% of all of my content now is by mobile users. About 80%, I think it's like 70% of people who are watching my content are mobile users, and that's fine. But what I have discovered is that that also means that most of these people are not watching my longer content, they're watching shorter content. And again, that's fine. But because of that, it makes me realize, wait a minute, why are my shorter forms getting more views, but yet no one's watching my longer content? Because the people who are using mobile are not interested in longer content. So that's what also was the business decision was, okay, what I need to do is start putting all of my longer content into Patreon and then take snippets of that longer content and put it on YouTube. And that's what I'm going to be doing. So basically YouTube is going to be a shorter content platform, and really a taste of each piece of content. And then if you really want the full enchilada, you have to go to Patreon. You have no choice. And I know a lot of people are probably going to be wondering, are you ever going to have free stuff on Patreon? No, not for a while, not for a long time, because reality is I already have a shitload of free stuff on YouTube. Why would I do the same thing for Patreon? Because if I do that, no one's going to pay for my Patreon. Again, this is a business decision, so it's not personal. And I just hope that people understand this, that it's not out of malice, it's not out of hate, it's not out of even any kind of negative emotion. It's about the necessity for the survival of my brand, for my personal integrity as a content creator, and for the dignity of my worth of what it deserves. Because realistically, most content creators should be doing this. They should be moving to fucking Patreon permanently, because literally, I don't know why so many people are giving all this shit away for free and they're not getting paid for it. Because don't get me wrong, there are some YouTubers who are still getting paid really well, but that's because a lot of them have these agencies who are backing them up to help them to like shuffle that shit out constantly. But when you don't have that, I don't care how big you are, there's a lot of content creators that don't have that, and they have to make everything themselves. And people will say, well, why aren't a lot of content creators signing with like these big agencies that give them these offers? Because it's like signing with the devil. It's no different than a signing with YouTube. Once you sign that shit, you sign all your rights away. You sign all of your content away to this company. They take a huge percentage, just like YouTube will take a huge percentage, and then you're not getting any of your content like to keep. Like it ends up becoming the property of that company that you signed with, and they can take all that content away from you, and you're fucked. And I'm not. That's why I don't want that. I don't want any of that to happen. And so for me, it's like this became a business decision, and most importantly, for my mental health, and taking a long step away from YouTube and really diving more into what is more healthy for me and what I want for myself in the long haul. And see, my throat chakra keeps coming out. It's really something I know deep down I need to do this for my mental health, because I love creating, but I really don't like the feeling that YouTube gives me. I mean, at all. I don't like it. I love the subscribers. I love the supporters. I love all of you so much. I mean, that's why I kept doing this for so long, but I can't fucking survive like this anymore. I mean, this is not surviving. This is not even close to that. Like, I've had other people in the past tell me you really should consider, you know, moving to a different platform. I've had people tell me in the past that you should probably even consider quitting and just moving on. But my heart can't allow me to do that, because I still absolutely love doing this. And the reality is, as much as I want to be able to quit YouTube and get a full-time job or even a part-time job, I still can't do that right now because of having to be here with my dad and taking care of him, because there are plenty of moments where he comes home and he needs me. and it becomes a reminder, or even my daughter needs me, and it becomes a constant reminder. I can't just up and do that, because there's going to be plenty of moments where someone needs me for other things, and or for support or for help or whatever. And it's one of those things that's one of the great parts about being a content creator, because you can make your own hours, you can still work off camera, and then still produce, and then all of that is still, giving you the benefit of a legacy and of continual consumerism for the consumer, and also continual payment when I'm not actively uploading or engaging. And that's one of the biggest parts about being a content creator that makes it so beneficial. But it's easy for other people who don't have families. When you have a family and you're a parent, and especially if you're doing it as a single parent, or like even for someone like Proving Demons, for Andrew, him and his fiance, they just had their baby, and congratulations to them both. I really genuinely mean that. But even the irony is, like, he would sit there and give me shit about, oh, and I don't want to I don't want to bring all that shit back, but I'm just making a point here. It's like, I'm not going to give him shit for taking a step back for his family, right? Because I know what that's like. I was there. And so it's ironic. I just got to add that in there because I'm just being a little petty, but I genuinely mean it when I say that I really wish him and her the best. I really do. Do I think it's going to last? No. But at the same time, I do wish them the best. I know it sounds kind of petty, but that's just my take on that. And that's just consecutively what I keep saying. But at the same time, that's the thing that people don't understand, is like, when you're a content creator and you have a family, your family comes first. And people would say, well, your family comes first, but shouldn't you also be, working constantly to support your family? That comes first. Well, yeah, that's what being a content creator is. It's your fucking job. And again, people don't ever stop and realize that it's a full-time job. And that's the thing. It's like, when you have a job that's a 9 to 5, I've had those jobs, but it feels fucking suffocating. I lose my mind when I'm literally standing at a desk having to check people out or whatever. I don't know how to describe it. And I actually just did an astrology reading on myself, thanks to Gemini AI. And yeah, you don't need an astrologer to do that. I'm not saying people shouldn't still trust astrologers, but it was incredibly accurate. And I was like, yeah, that is me to a fucking T. That I can't, that's just not me. That's not who I am. And it made me understand more about myself, which is helpful. But the fact of the matter is, though, is that when you are trying to constantly, be there for everybody else, and you're trying to, upload everything for free to support everybody else, to help everybody else, you start realizing you're neglecting yourself, and you get so exhausted to the point where it's like, okay, am I really helping people, or am I hurting myself in the end? And you really have to start coming to terms with that reality check. And it becomes something where I've had to take a step back so many times, and I knew this moment would come, but I knew that I had to wait for that sign, right? And then all of a sudden, when I started seeing my numbers going completely down after doing all of these changes, I was like, okay, so YouTube is completely screwing me over, even more now than I ever thought. So that ain't fair. And that was when I started realizing, wait a minute, if the only time I'm getting paid is from my members, then there's no reason why I shouldn't just be on Patreon, because it's the same fucking thing. So that's when I started realizing this has to change, because otherwise I'm only giving YouTube more and more money, and I'm helping everybody else, but I'm still getting screwed over in the end. And that just has to change. So I know I was on a huge rant. Sorry about that. But yeah, I really want to go back to that point where, Andrew, I just find it ironic that in his live when he was shit talking me for calling him out for Italy, he sat there and he was like giving me shit with this smokeaholic girlfriend of his at the time. And they were like saying, oh, you're just talking about you being a single mom, like it's fucking hard, da 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 da, or whatever. I'm not quoting it verbatim. But I just find it very ironic that now he's putting his foot in his mouth and it's like, oh, now you know how hard it is with a newborn. Congratulations. And that's one of those things where it's like, you know, he'll learn as he goes. And that's where it's like, I just want to be the bigger person and let that shit go. I actually genuinely hope that everything goes well for him and her, and they get a better place, because that place is a shithole. Because you can't raise a baby in that environment. You just can't, especially with all the fucking alcohol bottles all over the place. But that's just my opinion, right? From all the lives that I've seen that he's done, videos that he's done. But that's just my opinion. So I'm going to end it with that part there with my long ass rant. So sorry about that, guys. But this is definitely longer live than I anticipated. I guess I had a lot more to say than I anticipated. But yeah, I'm actually really excited. I've been doing this whole change for a while, on Patreon, and I've been consistently there. And right now we have like a whole stellar community. So we're having live chats. Because of the app, now I can chat with everybody constantly all day long, which is really great that you guys can have access to that we can't do here in YouTube. And so that's one of the reasons why I love Patreon. It's really great. That's my stomach. I'm hungry. Oh my God, can relate heavy on the family part, Mike Smith. Yes, thank you. David, Ola, you work harder than anyone. You're awesome. I completely understand you decide to move to Patreon. Stowe, we love you like family, you know. Oh, thanks, David. I love you too. I hope everything's going well for you over there. I don't think that I work harder than anyone. That's one of those things that I never want to say, because that's such a narcissistic statement. Not for you, not what you're saying. For me, I just can't bring myself to say that, because I definitely know that a lot of content creators work their asses off for their content. Don't get me wrong, there are some that really put in the shittiest content and they just make that fucking money like crazy. And that's the thing that ever since I've been taking a major step back from YouTube and making Patreon my priority, I've even looked at things in a totally different perspective, where it's like, wait a minute. So YouTube really is about quantity. It's not about quality. When you notice that, if you really open your eyes and really pay attention to YouTube's algorithm and like other content creators. Now, people who have like other people editing for them, they can bust out that content like crazy, right? But a lot of it's entertainment based. Don't get me wrong, a lot of it's educational or enlightening, but usually the educational or enlightening ones are usually the slower paced ones, right? But again, they'll like upload consistently all the time if they have other editors or other people. And the thing is when I'm creating constantly, when I was uploading constantly, my content was shit. I mean, I even acknowledge that. My content was so bad. The messages still meant everything, but I'm even thinking I'm actually planning on doing reactions to my own videos, and I'm going to be doing that on Patreon. That is one plugin for you guys if you want to go check that out, because I'm definitely going to be doing that. That's something me and my daughter were laughing about, and I'm definitely going to do that, because I was looking back at my old content and I'm like, oh my God, it is so fucking bad. And the camera quality, me shouting at the camera, everything has changed about my content process, like how I present myself, everything, even my makeup, my hair, it's like, eesh. But the more I grow, that's how you can laugh it off and be like, yeah, that was the uncomfortable process of learning. But my point is, though, is like, I've noticed, I can't help but notice that when I was uploading constantly, that was when I was getting a lot more views for shittier content because it was uploaded faster. But now, even when I upload content, even every single day, and I have done that, even in the past, like back a year or so ago, I was still getting no views, like none, unless it was shorts. And even then, I don't get much. And whether people want to acknowledge it or not, the fact of the matter is, unless you are either very popular for whatever fucking reason, or you're very attractive, because there is a thing called beauty privilege, that is a fact. You could be the shittiest fucking person on the planet and still be attractive enough where people follow you just because of how you look, not because of your morals, not because of your ethics, not because of whether or not you're a good fucking person. A lot of the times it's because you're attractive, and a lot of people don't want to admit that, but that is a fucking fact. That is something that I've noticed on every fucking platform, especially when it's about women. I've noticed this huge issue, especially when you reach also a certain age. It's been also been flooding on TikTok like crazy. I was even thinking about commenting on that in future videos, because like men are now making all these misogynistic statements saying that women don't even matter anymore. Women, it's really actually extremely toxic, and yet they wonder why they're getting denied every single time because of shit like that. But and yet they wonder why like women aren't dating them or sleeping with them on the first date, because one, you call us a whore if we do that, and then you never call us again, but then you expect us to put out, and then you're still calling us low or degenerate or no self-esteem or a hoe or a thought or whatever. And it's like, well, which one is it? And there's a lot of like bullshit that I really want to start, like I said, like a podcast vibe, I want to start talking more about in Patreon. Like there's so much shit I want to start doing. And what I've been thinking about doing is going into the more conversational mode where, and this is something that I've been contemplating on for a while, where I want to just make simple videos for YouTube, and then the more edited versions, like premium versions, will be on Patreon. And that is also a plan. So you're not going to get all this super edited stuff anymore. People don't even obviously appreciate it. So why the fuck put it on YouTube if no one's going to sit and actually watch it? What's the fucking point? I'm just being real about it. I'm not going to waste my time putting in all this goddamn work anymore, being a doormat for YouTube, when even the people who subscribe aren't even watching. What's the point? So, and then I'm also considering at the same time taking clippets though of some of that edited content, but very short forms, like maybe 8 minutes long, maybe 4 or 5 minutes, and then give you a little sneak peek of that content. But all of the really, really edited content will be on Patreon. And then if I were to make original content again for YouTube, if I do, which is not going to be often anymore, if I do, it's going to be no editing at all whatsoever, as far as like special effects, intros, shit like that. No one gives a fuck anyway. And I'm just going to just talk about whatever it is, like collective messages or whatever, no tarot, and then just move on. And it'll be short, because I know deep down I don't want to make this change, because the fear keeps telling me, well, that's not fair, or this isn't more high vibrational, or this is a selfish thing. But my intuition keeps telling me this is exactly what needs to be done, for my content to be more exclusive, and for me to have more self-respect and not selling myself short anymore with YouTube fucking me over. And I know I've been saying this for so long, But I'm so dead serious. Like I said, as a heart attack, I'm so dead serious this is happening. So I'm not gonna delay it anymore. It's going to happen. So even after this stream, there are going to be videos that I'm gonna be clocking. They're gonna be gone. I'm not kidding. It's gonna be gone. And then they're going to be completely moved over. I'm going to start probably with Light Warrior News, just because most people seem to like those the most. But also a lot of my other content, like Astro Files, will be moved as well, because a lot of those need to be moved. And that's the other thing, is my astral stuff is very personal, and I've gotten to that point where I'm sick and tired of people commenting on my personal psychic experiences that are no one's fucking business, right? People can have an opinion, and that's fine. People don't have to believe me, but I don't need your fucking opinions when it comes to a certain deity experience or whatever. And I can take the heat. That's not an issue. I get hate all the time, constantly. But it's when it comes to my personal, what I feel is sacred to me, to my heart, when it's a personal positive encounter or even a negative experience that traumatized me, who the fuck are you to tell me if it's real or not? Right? You weren't there, you know? And that's where I was also having that realization. It's like, these are my personal sacred experiences that feel sacred to me. I'm not saying that other people need to feel that way. I'm saying this is how it feels for me, that I need to do what's best for me, for my spiritual, I guess can say, sovereignty. I want to put my experiences in a community that are going to respect it. They don't have to believe it, but respect it. Because if you join, then you must respect it, right? Because obviously, who would join if they hate it? Who would pay money out of pocket if they hated it, right? And that was something that also was like a light bulb in my mind. Like, why didn't I think of this before? This makes total sense. And that's one of those things where I think would be really important. And I feel like this is intuitively what I need to do. Okay, so Christine, I would watch it. Well, thank you. Kristen, do you sometimes combine your Light Warrior News and Astro Files? Yes, I have done that many times, and people don't watch them long enough. The average, and this is the reason why I would cut my videos down to like 5 to 8 minutes. The average span of every single fucking video people watch is 8 minutes. That's it. After about 8 minutes, they clock off. They're gone. So why put in an hour, 45 minutes, or an hour, like 45 minutes to an hour of a video, even 20 minutes of a video on YouTube, if people are having such short spans of attention, short attention spans, that they're not even sitting there for even 10 fucking minutes? What's the point? And you'll notice a lot of content creators do that. They feel like they have to think through this in a way of a business decision and be like, okay, I have to do this. I think I've watched your videos so many times. So I appreciate that, Kristen. And that's the thing. It's like, I don't want to have animosity towards this. I don't want to be neglectful of anyone either. But the biggest decision, the biggest feeling I have is just what makes me feel good in an energy way, that I can do this without feeling that I'm being guided by fear or doubt or worry. And every single time when I upload to Patreon, it's the exact opposite feeling. I feel secure in my decision. I feel happy that I made these videos to Patreon. And there's just like this comfort of knowing that there's this healthy, stellar community. I mean, the people that are there even now are absolute fucking wonderful. We share pictures together. We talk about what we're doing for the day. We talk about tips, and we talk about books that we're sharing and what we're reading and what we're doing, and meditation. I was even thinking of starting like group meditation times in the Stellar Chat. I thought that would be so cool, where y'all tap into each other's energy. I thought that would be really nice. and just start doing things that are more community based and really bringing people together to support one another in this low vibrational field we call Earth, because really that's, I think, the most important aspect here. But I've been talking nonstop, so I'll let you guys fill in your questions. But yeah, this took a lot longer than I thought. Guys, my phone is like dim. I don't know why. I think it's because of the heat. Thanks, YouTube. Let's see, Nova. I watched all of your videos. If I can't watch it all in one sitting, I come back later and finish watching it. I love your content. I appreciate that, Nova. I really do. Jake, I agree with you talking about your astral experiences. I recently had one with Denis. I can never read these names. Dionysius? And he was amazing and healing, and I'm starting to work with him slowly. That's great. I don't know who that is. That sounds familiar, though. Eddie, the way you feel about Patreon is justification enough, and I appreciate that. Yeah, and I know that I don't need to keep justifying myself. Again, that goes along with the fear, like worrying if people are going to hate me if I don't give enough reasons or da 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 da. But honestly, I don't give a fuck what anyone thinks anymore. I'm just going to do what feels right for me. And this is what I know deep down makes me happy at this point. And even with the 8 members that we have that are paid members, I'm very grateful for this right now, because I'm able to finally have excitement with what content I'm going to upload next. And I already have loads of other ideas. There was even one person, Marley, I think it was, or Marie. Her names are kind of different on each platform, I think, unless I'm remembering wrong. But on one of the community posts, she listed a whole bunch of video topics that I had actually thought about, but now that she listed them off, thank you if you see this, by the way, I already have them all written down. And the fact, like, knowing what other people want is also helping me to find out what to make. But I want to be very clear, just because everyone may ask or whatever doesn't mean I may be drawn to it in the moment. So if I'm drawn to it and it's been suggested, I'll definitely do it. But if I'm not entirely drawn to it yet, I'll still keep it in my list in case I get drawn to it later. That's kind of the idea, so I don't forget it, if that makes sense. Christine, are you going to make a video about Ted Bundy on Patreon? No, just because I only make content about people that I've had really one-on-one experiences psychically, astrally with, and Ted Bundy, I've only seen him like once, and it was very brief, and he just dipped out. Nothing happened with him, and I say that honestly, and I was very grateful for that. He just left. So I don't have any things to say. I'm not saying he's a good guy. Definitely not. But yeah, no, I just don't have any experiences with him. That's the difference about it, is like, I don't make content just because for the sake of content. I make it, especially for astrophiles, only if I've actually had that experience with that spirit. Otherwise, I'm not gonna do it. Let's see. Thanks, Jake. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck that was about. I just heard movement in my bed. Like, you know, that's the other thing too, is I've had a lot of death these past few months, and it's forced me, like, a lot of death of loved ones, and it's forced me to really do a lot of self introspect and evaluating what's the most important to me and what I want to invest my energy in anymore. Because realistically, if you're investing your energy into something that makes you unhappy, you're only sabotaging yourself. And like I said, I don't want to quit YouTube. I still want to do lives on YouTube. I still want to do all of that. But will I do live tarot readings on YouTube? I don't know, to be honest. I may or may not. I was thinking I might keep that exclusively for Patreon as well, because then at least I'm getting paid doing that. Because even with YouTube, even though people would become like a member or pay with Super Chat, I still didn't really get any of that damn money, like at all. And so I was still basically technically in many cases doing all that reading for free. And so that's one of those things where it's like, I really had to like really take a huge step back and analyze through my heart chakra and pushing out a lot of the fear and doing a lot of shadow work again, and really looking at what means more to me rather than what is triggered by fear. And that has been a very healing process, a very painful process, but also an opportunity for change, because you can't grow if you keep staying in the same place for too long. You just can't. You're going to stunt your growth. And I've gotten everything I could out of YouTube, and I've accepted it. And I know I will never get to where I really want to go in YouTube. And who knows, maybe I will actually do better in YouTube because I do this change. That's possible too. But to be honest, I don't really give a shit anymore. I don't care if YouTube does well or doesn't do well. I've kind of let go of that hope. I've definitely let go of all that. But I think that's the most relieving feeling, because now I'm not being positioned in a place where everything I do with my channel is based on fear, based on whether or not am I going to get views or ratings. Because with Patreon, it's not about that. It's about just the content and the community, and it's about engagement. And when I say engagement, it's not about views, it's not about likes, it's not about even comments, it's about the community. And I'm still going to work on what can be like uploaded or what can be offered more for perks. I even have another special perk. I have several special perks that are listed for Patreon. But that's the other reason why I don't want to officially leave YouTube forever, because YouTube is a great space for new engagement and to be like a funnel for people to find me on YouTube, then to find me and subscribe to Patreon. And that's like the biggest plus for YouTube, is because there is still so much engagement involved. But that's also the downside, because that's why a lot of people stick to YouTube, because of that. And it becomes a vicious, never-ending fucking cycle. And that's like one of the biggest reasons why so many people get sucked into this funnel where they never know when to get the fuck out of it. And it becomes incredibly debilitating when you're putting in so many goddamn hours for like 100 views. And it's like, well, why am I doing this anymore? I mean, that's where a lot of content creators are becoming desperate, where they're doing crazy, stupid shit, or they're doing a lot of clickbait. And I am so against clickbait. I don't fucking like clickbait. I think it's deceiving. I think it's fucked up. I think it's manipulating your fans' emotions. It's exploiting people. Don't get me wrong, there's a little bit of a clickbait you can do that is still authentic to the content. But if you're just deliberately lying in your thumbnail and in your title, and then it's the exact opposite and nothing to do with the video, you're fucking with people. And that is because in a lot of ways people are doing that out of desperation, because they are desperate for views. And that's a move that I'm always still surprised about that people are doing. Huh. Interesting. Anyway, Jake, that guy commenting gave me weird vibes. Yeah, right? I know. That's fucking weird. But thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, even right now, I know it's late because it's like almost 11 p.m. here in Alaska, but I only have 20 people right now. And normally I have like at least 100 people. At least. Sometimes I would get up to 200 people during a live. And even YouTube is like making sure that my lives get no traffic. But even then, I'm not even doing this for traffic. That's just the point that I'm making here, is I'm doing this for the sake of just letting people know, because people are not reading my, they're not reading my community posts. So that's why I'm doing this live. So that way people get an idea of what's going on, so they know what's going on. Because once they start seeing all the videos disappearing, they're going to start panicking. And that is where this comes into play. So it gives people an idea of what's going on, because I'm definitely not going to be doing that. There was no notification. Yeah, see? Like, and I made that post. I made like 2 or 3 posts, and people are not even getting notified when I make these posts on my YouTube at all. People are not getting notified at all. So, and that's where a lot of the shadow banning is hitting my channel, because even my subscribers and people who have been notified, like click the notification button, they're not getting notified at all. There's even been people who've said that, well, you're getting a lot of like new viewers. Yeah, but new viewers is not what brings in consistency. It's your subscribers, and YouTube knows that. You can have a shitload of new views, but that doesn't matter if your subscribers are not being informed of the content that you're uploading. Then you pretty much have no subscribers, even if they subscribed, because most people have busy lives and they're going to forget that you even exist. Because if you're not giving them notifications every time you upload, they're going to think that you're not uploading, and they're just not going to check. And that's understandable, because I have that same issue sometimes. But when you have that little dot that tells you when they're uploading, it makes you automatically want to go and click on it. But there's people that just don't get that kind of notification. They just don't. I get notification on my cell phone, then hop on the PC. Oh, okay. That's cool, Panda Bear. Long time since YouTube last warned anything. Now you're live, just showed up. Welcome back from the shadow ban, Robert. Thank you. There's one video I really want back. It's the meditation video from a couple years ago. I use that really often. Okay, well, Jake, I'm actually planning on doing a lot of new videos like that for Patreon. I have a shitload of plans of new videos. And I'm even planning on doing a lot of remaking of other old content. I'm not going to say which ones, and those are going to be on Patreon. So a lot of my premium content is going to be on Patreon. And what I'm going to do is a lot of the collective content will be on YouTube. A lot of my reaction content will be on Patreon, but I'll also give snippets of that on YouTube. So there's going to be major adjustments. It's going to take me a while to go through everything, but there's going to be a lot of changes. So it's exciting. I'm actually really looking forward to it. But if you guys like my content and you want to see more of my content, you can definitely check out my Patreon and become a subscriber there, a patron there. But there's no requirement, of course, but it would be appreciated. And then also if you want to, but that's the thing, it's like, I'm even done like plugging it in, like, hey guys, check me out. I'm just done with that. Like, if you like my content, cool. If you don't, that's fine. I'm not going to tell you to go do something you don't want to do. I'm just, and also that's the other thing that I really want to add here. I am working on a new book. I already have the script written down. I took a long time to write it. It's actually back there. But, and I have the full script. I already have the book planned out. I have the title. I have everything. Even my spirit guides have told me this book is going to be the most important fucking book you've ever written. And it's going to be extremely healing for a lot of people. And I'm very, very pumped for this book. The problem, though, is because of YouTube, the stress of content creating and the pressure of like always putting in like video after video to get monetized, that has been extremely toxic. And it has stopped my emotional like balance for me to be in that wavelength where I'm in that creative process, because the second I get done making a video, I'm just so fucking exhausted and drained that it's like I don't want to do anything. I don't even want to write. But with Patreon, it's like now that I can just upload and just be happy knowing that I'm still getting paid. And I hate saying it like that because it sounds so fucking like selfish, but at the same time, even you guys have been so wonderful, and my content supporters have been wonderful, and as far as like fans or super fans, whoever, but also just people who get it. It's like even fellow psychic mediums understand, like you can't just keep giving and giving and giving and you're not getting anything back. You become extremely drained. That's not helping you mentally, and that isn't good for anybody. And even my spirit guides were telling me consistently, they were like, look, once you move over to Patreon, and even Charlie, I'm not even kidding, Charlie Kirk has been extremely helpful. He is such a loving person, where he has been like such an amazing guide for me for, understanding how to make this work in my benefit. And he was even one of the few people, him, Shiva, Thoth, and a few other spirit guides, where they've all sat down with me. Like we would just sit around like a big bonfire in this astral realm, and we would be talking about what would be the most beneficial for me, what would be the most realistic. And also the biggest part about Patreon is this will allow me to know that even if I'm not uploading, I'm still getting paid, and that gives me reassurance to know it's okay to take a few weeks or a step back when I'm writing my new book. And that is the biggest plus, like the biggest plus, because when I'm writing, and anyone who's been a fan for a long time, you know what I'm talking about. When I'm writing a book, I need a few weeks to a few months where all I'm doing is writing. Because if I can't do that, getting in that zone, getting in that funnel of that focus, I lose all adrenaline for it. I'm one of those creators, those type of creative people where when I'm into something, I become almost obsessed with it because of wanting to get the message out, wanting to deliver the enlightenment, the healing, the guidance, whatever I'm passionate about. I'm very passionate about this stuff. And so when that happens, I get so pumped, I get so excited, and that becomes one of those biggest things that I really, really appreciate when I'm writing, because there's no negative talk in my head. There's no stress about anything, no views. I'm not thinking about shit. All I'm thinking about is what is the message that needs to be delivered in these books that I feel will help a lot of people like me. What do I want to say that I wish was said in other books that I needed in the time? And that's where this book is really going to benefit, I think, for a lot of people. But the problem is I can't sit back and write knowing I'm still not getting a paycheck. And that's like the other biggest issue, because I've had to do that in the past where I would take a step back from YouTube for like months at a time, weeks at a time. But the problem is it would still be in the back of my mind knowing that, okay, if I do this though, I'm going to lose like hundreds of dollars because I'm not uploading consistently, because that's how YouTube works. If you're not uploading over and over and over to get those views, you're going to lose that money. And that became a reality for me for a long fucking time, to the point where it's like, okay, this shit has to change. It can't stay this way anymore. So that's where I really am going down with that. Yep. And that's that's the biggest reason why I'm excited about this, because this will give me the creative freedom I really need in even writing my book. And that's one thing I'm really looking forward to. I'm so pumped for it. I've even been, I can't even talk. I've even been thinking about, once all of this is done with Patreon, I'm going to start, really start working on my book some more. Like, officially working on the introduction and working on the first few pages. And that's what I'm looking forward to the most, because I don't even, because I'm just looking forward to that the most. I can't stop talking, sorry. Will you share the title with us? Nope. Nope. No, that shit's secretive until you guys get it on the day it's published. I've had people steal my stuff. There are even people in the spiritual community, you know who you are if you're watching this. You've stolen my shit in the past. And there are people who have stolen my stuff. And I don't trust anybody. No offense, but I don't trust anybody. I keep that shit guarded. I don't let anyone know what my script is going to be about, what the book is going to be about. No one sees shit until the book is completely published. So I would love to tell you guys, but I can't. And that's just, and also, where's the fun in that? Then you're missing out on the surprise. What you don't realize is that when you die and pass on, all of that is gone when you realize that you're part of love. You remember who you are and the past is already forgiven. Yes, Jake, that's very true. Robert, so this is, have you conjured a spell for summoning patronage money? Thank you, Miss Miss Witch. Well, here's the funny part that you asked that. I actually did do a spell recently, the past about 2 weeks or so before this happened, where it was to help me to make decisions that were best for me in the long run, for my success, for my personal success, no matter the change, whatever it costed. That was really what the spell was. And it's interesting because I didn't anticipate that this would transpire afterward. And when these spells happen, they happen in a way that where I do them and then I just let it go and I don't think about it. And then what was interesting is that eventually I feel like this is the spell working in progress at this time. And I have actually been confirmed by Thoth that it is a part of my spell. And he keeps repeating the same phrase, it gets worse before it gets better. And I'm like, can you just shut the fuck up and stop saying that? And I love him to death as a guide. I really do. And he'll smile and he'll laugh about it in these different realms. And he's like, I know you hate hearing that. He's like, I understand. He says, but I promise you it's going to get better. But this is that painful change that happens. Change is always painful in the beginning. And I'm like, I know, but it feels like it's been painful for a very long time. But he keeps reassuring me, they all do, that this is going to be a very, very positive adjustment. It's one of those things where it's going to take time for me to get everything set up, to get everything moved and motioned over and adjusted. That's going to be the biggest thing. And I know that it is, I just feel it in my gut. I know deep down this is going to be the right choice. It's just going to take time for me to really feel that. So that's really where I'm at right now with that. So yeah. Yep. I don't know what else to say, guys. I've been on here for over an hour, which I'm still shocked about. But that's funny. But yeah. When people talk about the dead like that, it really pisses me off. Unless it was an objectively horrible world figure. Yeah, I agree. people would steal your intellectual property. Yeah, people do it all the time. People do it all the time. Groundhog, I hope that really is true. Even God himself seems like the biggest jerk. If them all, God isn't like what you think, and God doesn't actually exist. It's more of a supreme consciousness of just everyone. We're all source, really. Technically, we're all God. In the making. That's what Jesus talked about in his Lost Gospel of St. Thomas. As far as what this groundhog is talking about Charlie, one, you spelled Charlie's name wrong, so if you're going to insult him, at least do it right. But also, I don't know who Charlie was as a person, obviously, but I can tell you as my personal psychic experiences with him, he's been nothing but good to me and very kind to me. And he's been, honestly, one of my really good friends spiritually. And I'm just going to say that like it is. I don't give a fuck if anyone believes it or not. I don't care. He's been very adamant and very present in a lot of my change and transitions and adjustments with things. And when a person is like that in the afterlife, especially when they don't ask for anything in return, that's a heart of gold. That there's no other word for that to describe that. And I understand that, you know, some people look at certain people and think, oh, they're assholes. Well, not everyone is the nicest person when they're constantly being attacked constantly. And he was constantly attacked. And that's one of those things where, you know, I could go more and more into that, but I don't want to get lost in what this whole stream is about. But that's just how I feel about it. But yeah, I think I'm gonna let you guys go at this point for the stream, just because it's been a little over an hour, unless you guys have any other last minute questions regarding the change of this channel or anything like that. Yes, I have encountered Jeffrey Dahmer. I was thinking about doing a Patreon video for that too. I have considered that. I have encountered him one time. Oh, a good night, Jay. But yeah, I'm definitely going to be making a lot of changes. Are you going to delete most of your content here on YouTube? Yes, most of my content is going to be deleted. And what I'm going to do is a lot of the long form content is going to stay. Excuse me, let me rephrase that. A lot of the videos that have larger views, the most popular videos will stay on YouTube. But the other content that is probably from this year to last year to probably the past 4 or 5 years, depending on the viewer, like the views of those videos, will be deleted. Most of them will be, and I understand that I'll be losing views. But you know what's also crazy? I checked on YouTube on the desktop, it says that I have 3.5 million views overall, but then on the app, it says I have 6.5, and that number is like crazy to me. Like, people don't stop and think about how wild that is. 6.5 million people have seen me already is insane, and to think I'm still broke. Views don't mean shit. Don't get me wrong, it's great exposure, but most of the time it doesn't mean anything. Oh, you too, Eddie. I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, so most of the content will be moved to YouTube, and then what I'm gonna do is decide about maybe 3 to 5 minutes, maybe 8 minutes of content. Shorter versions of that content will be re-uploaded to YouTube, and they're not going to have intros, they're not going to have outros, they're literally going to be snippets, the entire channel for YouTube, because I have done a lot of research into my analytics and analyzing a lot of things, and most content is being enjoyed by shorter versions, the shorter content, and even the longer content. Most people are still only watching maybe 8 to 10 minutes worth of minutes of even my long form content. Even something as like 15 minutes, people are still only on average staying for about 8 minutes and dipping out. So what's the point of putting in even 10 minutes of content and putting in all that goddamn effort if no one's going to sit and actually fucking watch it? It's just a waste of my time. So I'd rather put it all on Patreon, and then that way it's more fair for the people who actually, and that's kind of what I was thinking. I was like, okay, then I'll just put, YouTube is going to be for the people with shorter attention spans, and then people who want to really sit and absorb the information for a longer period of time, who have the patience for that, who enjoy that, are going to be on Patreon. I've also been thinking, and I'm deciding I might even start my own podcast, like an official radio podcast, where I sit and talk on Patreon for like an hour at a certain time of day each week, and I might start doing it once a week, where I have a topic or several topics and I just talk about it. And I think that would be a lot of fun. I love that idea because there's times where I just can't shut the fuck up. And I think that would be such an awesome, fun engagement for everybody, because then we could talk about the episode. And then maybe I could start even including fans into the calls and having like an exclusive thing like that. Like I said, all of a sudden like I said, I'm having really great creative ideas that have just been flooding my mind, and I'm just so excited for it. And it's been happening nonstop. And I would love to start my own like paranormal podcast. I think that would be really, really fun, especially to give psychics a place, because, and this is not to shade other podcasters, I love people who talk about this stuff, but if I'm going to be very real, I would really love to have a podcast for me that where I can give light on the psychic insights for people. Because I also noticed people were telling me, they were like, well, Melinda, I actually love to just listen to you. I'll even just put you on if you're an hour, and I will be cleaning my house. They'll tell me this. They'll be like cleaning their house or driving and listening to me for the whole hour. And I'm like, what? And I'm like, wait, so you're telling me I'm putting in all this goddamn effort for effects, but no one's actually watching, but they're listening. And that's when I started realizing I should be having an actual podcast radio show. Like this is insane that I haven't started this a long fucking time ago. And here's the best part about it. I can do it in my PJs without makeup on, not give two shits about it, and enjoy it and still get paid for it. And I think that's a really great idea. You know, a lot of people do podcasts where they're always on camera and everything, and I still love that. Don't get me wrong. I love doing that. That's my favorite part about creating, is being able to, actually that's my least favorite part if I'm being really honest. My favorite part is the editing process, like seeing the finished product. I can't stand wearing makeup. I hate wearing makeup. It just feels like it's suffocating my skin. But it's like, but at the same time, like the whole podcast vibe of just talking about a topic and giving my 2 cents about certain things and conversations, I think that would be really great. And then maybe eventually have like other people being featured. I think that would be really fun. Like I said, ever since I've been pushing away from YouTube and thinking about everything as a creative process and not so much on what's going to get people hooked and are people going to stay. And I'm, instead of thinking about that through fear, I'm thinking about that through creative energy. And all of a sudden I'm just like, I love that idea. Do you guys like that idea? I think that would be really great for Patreon. I think that would be awesome. I would love to do that. Podcast dude, that would be coolest if interview anyone who experienced astral projection or angels or other. Very interesting to see a video. That would be cool, yeah. The only problem though is I don't know if I would do it as a video or do it as a podcast where it's just like a radio podcast. So I was thinking maybe I would try it as the radio first. I don't know. I'm still not sure, but I'm just wondering what you guys think. Cat Goddess mood though, I joke around about someone needing to grab some freaking duct tape because they're not being able to shut up at times. I don't know what you're meaning by that. You guys are having your own conversation. Nova, a podcast would be cool. Okay. Okay. Well, I love that idea. Maybe I'll look into doing that's 1919 on my thing. Yeah, it means new beginnings and endings. That's interesting. 1010. But yeah, so if you guys want to see the rest of my content and all of my content officially, you're gonna have to go to Patreon from now on. So that's really the end of this live, I think. I think I'll go ahead and end it here. Because I still have a lot more videos to upload, and that's what I've been doing all night long, and I'm gonna keep doing it for the rest of the night. But also I'm a little worried we might lose power because the wind is kind of crazy and I don't want to lose power during the live. But I'm gonna go ahead and end it here. But if you guys want to support me and you also don't want to miss out on other stuff, definitely consider checking out my Patreon. But if you don't and you still want to be a supporter here, that is okay too. I mean, even if you can't afford to be a patron and or even becoming a member, you can still support me by watching the content and commenting and subscribing and liking the videos is a huge support, whether you know that or not. It really does. It really does. Some people don't really realize how helpful that actually is. They think it isn't. It is very helpful. Nova, where's the link to your Patreon? So it's in my homepage, like as far as like my About Me section. I also have a link of my Patreon featured on my channel. Like once you go into my About section of my channel, I'll have all my links there. You can go to my Patreon that way. You can also find my Patreon on my community post where I have posted a link there as well. You can definitely find it there. But yeah, yep. And I appreciate that. Thank you, Nova. I hope to see you there. That'd be great. But and I did have it at first at $15 a month for everybody for the exclusive video content, but I started really evaluating that and I thought, okay, maybe I should make it at $11.11. I was gonna do $10.10, but I already had it at $11.11, and I'm also really drawn to that number lately, so I'm gonna be using that one. So it's $11.11 for members to get full access to everything. But if you also want to be so there's the Charmed Coffee. In fact, I can read it off here so that way anyone who hasn't gone to my Patreon yet, you can get an exclusive little thing from me here. So I'll just go ahead and read it, but you guys can also see it for yourself. But in case you're not so sure and you want to hear it from me, I'll go ahead and read it for you real quick. So I have several tiers. For my Patreon, I have Charmed Coffee, which is just $5.55 a month. Oh, so Lisa, hi. So when is my book going to be coming out? It's funny. Okay, so I haven't made it official yet, but I am leaning towards November. So not this year, but next year. So because it's going to take me a while to make this book, to write it, because I have a lot of stuff going on still at home. But that is kind of the push. Normally, I have my books published in April. Almost pretty much all of my books were published in April, except probably Wicked Threats. I think that one was published around October or August. But I've decided this new one will be published around November of 2027. So that's primarily the date when I'm pushing it for. Davey, well, I'll join Patreon and watch your video. I appreciate that, David. I really do. So And I would love to see you guys there. But again, there's no pressure. If you guys can't afford it, don't feel like you have to, because I know times are tough. Please don't ever feel like I'm going to guilt trip you for doing that. Don't. It's okay if you can't. Because you're still going to get free stuff here. But okay, so on Patreon, I have Charmed Coffee, which is $5.55. And then there's the Witchy Wisdom. So the Charmed Coffee, it just supports me so I can get a coffee each day if I want. And then also just to help me. And it says, in this tier, you help Melinda by buying her a cup of coffee to get the day started for new tarot readings, spiritual content, late night video scripting, research, prep, and more, which is huge. It really does help. Here you'll not only support Melinda in her creative process, but also become a part of the stellar community where you can enjoy endless hours of mystical combos in this warm and welcoming circle. So I love that. And then there's also the Witchy Wisdom, which again, play on words. I love that. 11/11 each month, where you get access to a bunch of exclusive content. And then there's the Stellar Script, which is $15.15 a month, which is where you get everything from the previous tiers along with a special recognition where you get to have your name featured at the end of every video in Patreon. And I might even do that. Yeah, it's going to be Patreon. If I do it in YouTube, I might do it in YouTube as well. I'll probably do that as well, maybe. And then there's Keep the Candle Burning, which is $33.33 a month. And that again is just all the same previous perks, but these are for people who want to support me for my larger creative projects, like also to help me with being able to fund for software and computer stuff and monthly subscriptions that also help in creating the videos and everything else. And then book projects, future content creation, software editing, all of that, and other research. And then there's the Mystic Mentorship, which is a huge plus for people, and there's only 5 spots, and no one is even in it right now, which is fine. But if you want, there's only 5 spots remaining, like that are available. And this is where you get a 1-hour phone call with me every single month. But here, let's be real. I'm a chatterbox. You're definitely going to get more than an hour. But it's an hour phone call, a psychic mentorship, paranormal advisory, psychic readings, tarot readings, simple, or even just a simple friendly chat with a like-minded person. And that is $100 a month. And then the best part about that kind of subscription is you can just pay for that one time and then have that one phone call, and then you can just change it to a lower tier if you want, or just, opt out and there's no hard feelings, because that gives people an option for that as well. And I really like that a lot, because that gives people plenty of room for different experiences and different options. And most of the other higher tiers are primarily for, you get access to the video, but if you really want to support me and you have that finance support, like you can do that, you have those funds, supporting me even more really does help immensely. And that gives people another financial option. So I tried to make it so everyone has a different tier of options financially, but if you really want access to the videos, all the exclusive content, the Witchy Wisdom is the tier you want to join, which is the second tier. And that's the $11.11 a month. So I hope that explains that. That's pretty much it. But I'm wanting to just let you guys know all that before I go. Kristen, you just made me think of one of my favorite TV shows, Charmed, the original, not the remake. That's funny. Oh, that's funny. My family used to love that show. I hated that show. No shade against anyone who liked that, but I was never into that show. But it was always funny. They'd be like, oh, look, her name is Melinda. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I was like, it's still a dumb show. I'm sorry, but that's just how I felt about the show. But I'm glad that you liked it. I'm sorry. But that's cool. Let's see, Eddie, hoping that the mentorship can happen with international clients one day. The thing is I want to do international clients for that. I have been considering doing that, but the problem is I need to call you from out of the country, right? And I don't have international service. That costs way too much money. I can't afford that. If I make more money and I can pay for international calls, then that'll definitely be an option, but I can't. And the thing is people would say, well, you don't even need to pay for international calls. You can use like other apps or whatever. I don't want to be on an app to make an international call because I just don't. And the biggest reason why is because I've had people in the past just try to call me from these apps like randomly when they wanted to in the middle of the night, and I'm like, that's not how this fucking works, bro. You can't call me like this and from the app. Like, that's not how this works. And it came to the point where I can't do that. So, but I would like to do international calls, but it's just yeah, the price for that is, it's out of my price range right now. Unless I could make that an option for people, and I did make that an option technically, where you could join the Mystic mentorship for the 1 hour phone call, but instead of an hour phone call, you can get exclusive texting with me, like chatting, where we'll have our private chat where we can just chat one-on-one for a whole hour, maybe even 2, and just chatting the whole time and answering any questions or concerns for you, and maybe even doing a reading. I can take pictures of the reading. It's not as great. It would definitely be better for a phone call. I definitely agree with that, but that would be the only option I could do right now for international. Nova, I was never into Charmed either. I think Charmed had good potential. And no shade to people who like Charmed. I think that it's great that a lot of people liked it. I wasn't into it. I've always been more into other content, more different kinds of films and stuff. But yeah, I definitely feel like this is the end of my live. I've been on for almost 2 hours, which was way longer than I anticipated. But thankfully I haven't lost connection this time like I did last time. But yeah, I should have sent the whole 100 already, haha. 1 hour consultation sounds awesome. Oh, I see what you're saying, Robert. I mean, that would be wonderful, but it's really up to you. There's no pressure. And the option's always there. You know, it's always there for people as an option for Patreon, and that's one of the reasons why I like it. I will also give an update too, since it's here on the live. I'm looking at deleting my website altogether. It's still going to be up, but I'm just gonna kind of wait for it to just kind of run out of its subscription, and then I just won't update it, and I'll look into seeing if I can just delete it entirely, because I just don't want the website anymore. I don't want it to say lastfrontiermedium.com anymore. I just don't want it anymore. But I also, I'm just so broke financially right now. I can't afford to pay these costs. And I know a lot of people have even said, well, you can make more money if you do personal tarot readings or psychic readings. And I have done that in the past quite a bit. But the problem, though, is that most people still want free readings, and most people also just can't afford it for the prices that I charge. And that's understandable. It's just the problem, though, is that I've noticed that a lot of people expect it, just because it's spiritual, that it should always be free. And that's a problem for me, because I'm putting in all these hours to edit these videos, to do the tarot readings, to put everything together, only to find that, you know, then when I'm done, and it goes well, don't get me wrong, but there are times where most people just still want it to be a cheaper price. And so the cheapest price I can give people for a tarot reading is $100. That's the cheapest I will go. I won't go any cheaper than that, because it's just too much work. It's too much energy. But that's where I'm at right now, because yeah. And also Wix, I like Wix. That's where I am with my website, but Also, no one goes to my website anymore. No one goes there um, ever, and it's fine. It's just, I've noticed that it's just a huge waste of my money, and I really like having the website, but I'm also kind of outgrown it right now. Maybe later down the road in a few years or something, I'll make a new one, like a whole new name and everything. But I just feel like I'm outgrown it. I just don't, it's a part of all this change. I just want all of this to be changed. I don't want to be a part of this anymore. I don't want like all that old energy, all that old stuff. I want it gone, and I just want to let it all go, and I just want to move forward into this new transition officially. So, yeah, and I'm okay with that. I'm actually been pretty good with it. It's not like a bittersweet. It's more of like, thank God, I'm just done. I don't know how else to describe it. Oh, you're welcome, Nova. It's my pleasure. Oh, I agree. You shouldn't do readings for free. Yeah, I get people expecting it like free all the fucking time, and I just can't do it. Um, Maybe eventually a WordPress. I think those are free. That's pretty interesting. I'll look into that. But that's what's great about Patreon is it almost works like a funnel, almost like a website, and it doesn't cost me anything except like when Patreon takes out their percentage. And I can see why a lot of content creators use Patreon because it works very much like a website. It works very well, and I really like it. I've grown to really be addicted to Patreon that I'm on there like every single day now, and I've just been, yeah, I don't know how many more hours I can talk about this. That's pretty much it. Why is April so important to the forces of evil? Um, well, some people have noticed that April seems to be more in association with Jesus and the mocking of the Holy Trinity. I used to say that a lot, but honestly, I don't think actually it's an evil energy at all. I think people just kind of put that in their mind. I've actually found April to be one of the most positive energies for me. I love April. I love the month of April. I love springtime. My favorite time of the month or like time of the year is like October. I love October. Eddie, I can confirm community and Patreon is stellar. I love it. I love the name. I came up with it one night. I was like, ooh, that's a great name. I love that. Nova, I'm sending you good vibes and hope you make your income you need with this change. Thank you, Nova. That's really sweet. I am a little discouraged, don't get me wrong. I worry about this a lot, but there's also a part of me where I'm letting go of control, right? Even though it looks like I'm trying to control everything, it's not. It's, in my view, I was looking at this as I'm trying to control my funds by playing by the game that YouTube does, which is upload consistently till I'm fucking exhausted and then get money, get paid. But I was fucking miserable, like beyond miserable. And now it's like, now moving everything to Patreon, even though a lot hasn't really happened yet, but it's still in its baby phase, there's this huge relief off my shoulders of like, oh my God, I'm just so looking forward to just having this happen. And I've seen a lot of other major content creators who are moving to Patreon as well, and they're benefiting, and they won't admit it, but a lot of them are probably getting paid way more on Patreon than they are on YouTube because of how much YouTube is stealing. And this is just, again, my opinion for disclaimer, but I really believe in a lot of ways that YouTube is eventually probably going to get sued by a lot of content creators because of this, because there's no way that YouTube is going to get away with this for very long, because this is screwing over millions of YouTubers, a lot of content creators. Like, we're not making any goddamn money. We're not seeing a dime anymore. And that's just not me. There was even other content creators who are really big. Cinnamon Toast Ken, I love him. He's so funny. He's fucking awesome. Him and his buddy, I can't remember his name every single time because I'm just new to their channel. I've been watching them for a few weeks now, but I'm really bad at names. But even he was talking about how he suspects that he was shadow banned because he's not making really any money now. He's not getting nearly as many views anymore. And it's like, God damn, someone as big as him to even confess that is crazy. And that's something that people need to understand, that it's not just affecting smaller creators, it's affecting everyone. Blair White is such a great content. I love Blair. I think Blair is awesome. She's a huge inspiration for me. I really love Blair's content. I will admit her Christian stuff that she keeps pushing on people is a bit ironic. I find that kind of hypocritical when she's criticizing people about everything being demonic now, when she is like close friends and did a whole feature with a Satanist, like Falling in Reverse with Rodney Radke. And I'm like, you can't fucking make that up. Like, Blair, do you realize he's a Satanist? It's pretty obvious he's a Satanist. And I love that. Don't get me wrong, it was badass. It was really cool. I love his music, no shade. It's just like, know who you're hanging with. Just be real about that at least. Like, come on, just be real about that. But yeah. Several channels I subscribe to here on YouTube have most of their content on Patreon. I understand why creators do this. YouTube isn't a friendly place for creators anymore. Yeah, it's really not. It's become a platform. It's not for content creators anymore. It's not for the individual creator anymore. It's for the marketing teams. It's for the productions. It's for literal agencies. It's not for content creators. It's for agencies. I mean, a good example, the reason why Trisha Paytas has been blowing up recently these past few years, like the past year or so, and I'm happy for her, don't get me wrong, I'm not a fan of her, but I'm happy for her. But it's only because my suspicion is the Illuminati, but a lot of people are also saying it's because she finally joined this agency. What agency, right? But that's again my alleged point of view, but that's the thing. It's like these people who are really fucking major are dying on channels, like as far as like their channels going lower and lower and lower, and then they have no choice but to sign away their rights to these agencies in order to see any fucking hope. And that is not content. That's not content creator support. That is agency. What is the word? Global conglomerate. I don't know. There's a word for it. I feel like an idiot right now. I can't remember the words, but it's really not about content creators. It's about global agencies. It's about companies. It's about the hierarchies. It's about these people that are forcing content creators to sell their souls into these contracts and screw them over royally. And you'll see it like, oh yeah, they're doing really well in views, but it's a lot like the music agency, like with Backstreet Boys and NSYNC and all these other big content creators and singers and artists and actors. They sign themselves off to these agencies only to find out, yeah, they get a lot of fucking publicity, but at the end of the day, they're fucking broke. And they become a market for all these companies, but that's because they're selling their likeness, but they're not getting any fucking money out of any of that. And it's not just in Hollywood, guys, it's in YouTube. It's been in YouTube for a long time. And it's gotten even worse now because of, and it's even in TikTok, it's everywhere. But I have noticed it's not in Patreon like people assume. It's really not. But I am worried it could. But so far, I have been keeping an eye on Patreon. They seem to be sticking with their ethics right now, and I pray that it stays that way. Because so far, I really love their platform. I really do. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to reading some. Cat Goddess. It's like, sheesh, pay people what they are worth. Yeah, it's pretty insane. But like I said, It's already been 2 hours now. I've been on here way fucking longer than I planned. That's pretty much all I had to say for today. It's a lot, but also I wanted to spend some time with you guys. But this is where I'm going now with my content, and literally I'm just basically saying wham bam, thank you ma'am, I'm done with YouTube. I'm just done. I'm done with giving YouTube what it doesn't deserve, because YouTube has fucked me over so much. I'm pretty much expecting the channel to just be completely gone. And honestly, even if it was one day, I probably would actually have more relief than anything. But that's the other thing. It's like, it's the being discovered. That's the hardest part. But Patreon has been changing their algorithm where they're making it so people can be more found on Patreon, which is really great. And I really, really like that, because that's been a major issue for a lot of people on Patreon, because like people are not finding them, they're not getting found. And actually I've been noticing that I am getting more found by people on Patreon. I'm not getting any new subscribers yet, like patrons, but I know that will happen over time. Do I have faith in that? No. Do I think that will be like a major change right away? No. I feel like it's going to be like a painful, gradual process. But, and I just heard this in my head, something I remember Charlie was saying. He was saying you have to, he was, and this is just, again, my psychic experience. He was saying that you have to make these drastic changes in order for people to really want to go to your content. You got to stop giving them what they want to see for free, and give them what they need for free, and then give them what they want, what they pay for. And that was something that I started realizing was like, I was doing it completely backwards. I was like, huh, I didn't think of it like that. He was like, that's what you need to do. Give them what they need in the free stuff, and then give them what they want in the paid stuff. Give them that entertainment, give them that fun, give them that, all that other stuff that you love to do, that you're passionate about, but give them the stuff that's kind of boring and free, but give it so that way they get it what they need, but then give them what they want in Patreon. And I'm like, oh, genius. And I can't own that. He said that, and it was a really great piece of advice that I'm doing now. So yes, Eddie, that's 100%. That's where it is. Is Blair, Kristen, is Blair White a Christian, or is she just confused? No, she is a Christian. She said that she's Christian. Um, and I'm happy for her. I'm not a Christian. I don't like Christianity. I have nothing against Christians. People always think that I do. I don't. It's the religion I have a problem with. People that use their religion to dictate other people's lives, that's when I have a problem with that. But yeah, no, Blair White is a Christian, and I'm still a fan of her. I still respect her choice, but I do have a psychic feeling that she will eventually get out of Christianity. That's just my psychic feeling, because eventually I feel that she's been awakening a lot. And usually when people awaken, they usually go right back into religion. And then after they've had that awakening process, they start realizing that religion only gets them so far, and then they get out of it and they go right back into spiritualism, because being spiritual and religious are not the same fucking thing. So, but that's my opinion, and that's also what I've been psychically seeing over and over, is that this is a transition for her. It's a change, no pun intended on the transition, but I could be wrong. She could stay Christian for the rest of her life, but I keep feeling like this is a phase, like this is something of a transition for her spirituality. Because I did the same thing. Like when I awakened, when I had my NDE, I went very Christian for a long time, and then eventually, after my several other awakenings, because you have multiple awakenings, you don't just have one, you have several. And because they're more of like light bulbs, sometimes they're really, really abrupt and they change everything. Or you have like near-death experiences, or you have an ego death. You have a lot of shadow work that ends up happening. A lot of, what is that, dark night of the soul experiences as well, that really shift your alarm system of what is in your awareness. And it really shifts what you see versus what you know. And there's a big difference between the illusion from the truth. And that's something that people start really shifting away from religion altogether, and they start letting their own inner guidance be their true religion, their own spiritual evolution. And that's how I look at it. And maybe that won't be for her, but I actually wouldn't be surprised if a few years down the road or so, I don't want to give a timeline on it, but I have a feeling that is going to happen, because she's still very much very open-minded to many, many things psychically. And I don't think that that's gonna stick with her for a long time when it comes to religion, because religion's gonna shut that out, and she'll be in conflict with that. But that's just my psychic intuition that keeps telling me over and over. But again, no shade on that. I think it'd be great for her. I think that's wonderful for her. Well, they say to work smarter, not just harder all the time. Very true. Very true. You should collaborate with Lottie Lux. I don't know who that is. Never heard of that person. YouTube can possibly be your platform to direct promote your Patreon. Yes, Eddie, that's what I'm going to be doing. That is the plan. So yeah, I'm just going to be promoting Patreon constantly. That's what I'm going to be doing. True, I prefer to go more label free with my beliefs, less toxicity, and way more freedom. Yes, I completely agree, Kat. I completely agree. And that's one of the things, is you become a lot more in tune with your own inner compass, your own inner guiding light, and what matches who you are. Like, why do we need labels to identify who the fuck we are? That's stupid. And that's the thing about evolution and true enlightenment, is you're not dictated by what society or what even a community tells you. That's why I wanted to call it the stellar community. I didn't want to call it the witch community or even the starseed community. I didn't want to call it anything like that where it dictates a label. The stellar community is primarily about just enlightenment, and because we're all star seeds, like, and what I mean by that is we're all made of stardust. We're all energy. We're all pure in love and in goodness of source of what is creation. And to me, by calling it the stellar community, that means there's no barriers of what you can become, of who you are, as long as you're guided by love and positive vibrations. And there's going to be even low vibrations. There's going to be dark days, and that's what the community is going to be about. It's about supporting people even in their dark moments and helping people through those things as well. And that's what I really like about this, because I really miss having that community feeling. I really miss having people to talk to, and it gives me a chance to engage with you way more frequently there than I do even on YouTube. And that's one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to do this, so that way it can really put me back into that grounding space where I started in the first place. And that just rhymed, I didn't mean it to, but so yeah. Kristen, since you've been learning about different supernatural beings, have you learned about archons? I have heard of them. They're like an alien race, right? But yeah, I've heard of them. There's a lot of other type of alien beings that I've been looking into that I have actually astrally encountered, and that's the other thing that I want to start talking about more in Patreon, is a lot of my alien encounters, my one-on-one communication experiences with the Andromedons, with other certain type of beings, not just Pleiadians, but Arcturians as well, and even reptilians, and many other different types. And that's one of the things that I really want to get into as well, that I'm really excited about. Nova, there are a lot of YouTube toxic witches and people on dark paths. You're one of the few here on YouTube that walks in light and love, and you share important information for those of us who need it. And I appreciate that. And that is a problem. Like, don't get me wrong, the whole dark shit is sexy for a little while. Yeah, you can get into it, it's fun, but I've noticed that I'm just not that kind of witch. I'm very much, and that's the thing, it's like, why do you have to be a Wiccan to be considered a light witch? That's fucking stupid. Like, why can't you just be considered a light or a gray witch? And that's the problem, is there's not very many gray witches out there. They're either black or white. And again, that's not based on race. You can't believe how many people actually accuse me of that. It's fucking retarded. But there are actually witches out there who practice just light, and that's fine, or there's that practice like just black magic, and I'm not about either of that. I'm more about the neutral aspect of, I'm not about evil, but I am about justice, right? And I'm not about evil, but I am about karma and what is that word, I can't talk. I can't talk. Reciprocity, thank you. And then also, I think Charlie just told me. And then there's, you know, the light energy of healing and giving people that good positive vibration that they need for true enlightenment and love and guidance. And I'm not saying that I'm the beacon or the only person that can do that. That's the point, is building a community for people to know you can be all of those things and more. You don't have to just be one type of fucking individual or energy. A lot of people are very deceived by the amount of these so-called false lighters out there. Like, there's a lot of people. I even want to talk about Morg Official. I want to make a whole video officially about him. Don't get me wrong, I like his content, some of it, but most of it is extremely deceiving. And even on his Patreon, people don't even know it, but he literally has like sigils of Baal and other people, and that are demonic figures, devils, and people don't realize he's a fucking Satanist. He's a demonolator. And when people are constantly and people think, oh, he's all pro Jesus. No, man, he's a fucking Satanist. And people are not doing the research. They're just not opening their eyes. They're just not looking. And this isn't about causing animosity or being a drama channel. It's about exposing the frauds out there that are trying to give you false light, which is a deception. And that's what even Jesus spoke about. And I'm not saying that I'm Christian, but I am saying that's what even Thoth talks about, who's Egyptian. That's what Shiva talks about, who's Hindu. That's what many other type of deities talk about. And there's even Hecate, and she's very pagan, and she's even told me the same things. And so she's even about that too. She's about exposing that too. And so that's something that a lot of people have a problem with, is they think that I'm attacking people intentionally, but I'm not. I'm trying to wake people up from the deceptions that a lot of people have been sold, which are flat out fucking lies and are just ways to manipulate people into their grasp. And it's pretty horrifying to see how many people are duped into this false light that happens constantly. And there's also a lot of these manifestors out here in the spiritual community that are all about manifesting shit, when that's just gaslighting people who are dealing with a lot of financial burdens. And that's not fair. That just makes you feel like shit. Why am I not manifesting this? Why am I not manifesting that? When that is a clear deception on so many people. You're gaslighting people, and people don't realize that's actually spiritual gaslighting, and it happens constantly. And people are not calling this out because they're afraid of the backlash, like the same backlash I get. They're afraid of being called a drama channel. They're afraid of being called all these things. And honestly, I don't give a flying fuck. I'm used to everyone hating me anyway. I don't care if you like me or not. But the fact is, the information that I show is the information that is available for public viewing, but most people just don't want to look into it. And then when I find it, it's like, okay, I have no choice. I have to show this because you need to see this. It's public viewing. It's the same thing when I found out Anita was doing that whole MLM with Trova Trip. No one's even watching it, but it's a fucking fact, and people are not looking into it, and they paid for her thousands of dollars worth of fucking vacations that she doesn't fucking deserve. That's probably just going to go to her face again, and people just don't even realize it. And that is my personal psychic disclaimer and alleged opinion. And based on all the information that I've seen, I don't trust a company like Trovatrip. I don't. And I don't trust people like Anita to use that to pay for their vacations with their fans. I don't think that's right. And I think it's fucking disgusting that someone would do that. It's absolutely unforgivable. And I mean that by every stretch of the word. But are people going to suddenly, listen to what I say? No, because people want to be fed lies because they like the simplicity of that bubble that they're stuck in. People don't want to be enlightened. People want to be entertained. That's just a fact. And that's what I want to do on Patreon, is continue that enlightenment and continue that information. And that's one of the biggest reasons why I really want to just explore all of those things in a more candid nature without the stress of worrying about whether or not I hurt someone's feelings. Because I really don't care about being politically correct anymore. I just care about the truth. And if people have a problem with the truth, then they can go somewhere else. I don't care. I'm just not, I'm at that point in my age too where I just don't give a fuck about people's feelings. I care about facts. And don't get me wrong, I'm very empathetic for people and their emotions, especially when they trust like a content creator for so long and then they find out they were deceived. I can only imagine how traumatizing that is for so many people. Because especially if you like invested a lot of money into this person, if you put on a lot of time and effort and trust in this person, you find out that you've been deceived. It's pretty heart crushing. It's pretty heartbreaking. And that's why I do those. It's not about being hateful. It's about those people who feel deceived and deserve a voice. That's the biggest reason. If that makes me a bad guy, fucking fine. I'll take that badge any day. I don't care. Because as far as I'm concerned, those people deserve that defense. They deserve that voice. And you'd be surprised how many people's voices are being shunned out because these content creators, when they're being called out by their fans, these fans get blocked, and then their fans can't talk about it. And it's pretty fucked up. But I didn't, okay, let's see. Sorry, I was on a long rant again. I'm sorry. Nova, there is this so-called witch here on YouTube who I had to unsubscribe from because she started to get so nasty to her subscribers. They disrespected her, like threatened to curse them to death. Oh my God, what? That's illegal. That person should be fucking reported. That's illegal. You can't do that. That's fucking illegal. Cat Goddess, true, there is a lot of negativity or darkness in the community of things out here. So yeah, it can be difficult to somehow find good, safe communities sometimes. I get it. Yeah, true. Nova, oh yes, that's true. Call them out. Yeah. And then Nova, Anita's channel was really a good channel once, and I noticed how her channel changed for the bad before I ever saw your videos exposing her. But I didn't know she was doing all this crazy stuff on TikTok. Glad I saw your videos about that, LOL. You're welcome. Yeah, I'm glad that you saw that. Kristen, I've been wanting to ask, how did Charlie Kirk react to you being a witch when... That's funny. Actually, his eyes just went like really big. And he was like, oh, you're into that? And I was like, yeah. And we actually had arguments. We had a lot of like hated arguments. But then over the past year, he's spent so much time with other dead people, other living people, other spirits, other people. And he's understood. And I have to respect the privacy of Charlie. Despite this, I have to be careful about what I say. Because regardless of the fact of him being a public creator, public figure, I can't just say too many things, because again, I don't want someone like Erica Kurt coming after me and fucking threatening me for a lawsuit, even though really we all know what she's... I really firmly believe that she had something to do with his murder. I'm just going to say it. I don't think Erica didn't know. I'm pretty fucking sure she knew. That is my opinion. That is my psychic alleged opinion. And I don't give a fuck what anyone says. My gut tells me in every fragment of my bones, she knew something about it before it happened. But when it came to Charlie, he was so incredibly kind. And what I will say is that he's been learning that love is the answer. That's what he's understanding. Not religion, but love. And it's been very hard for him for a lot of things, but he has grown so much. I'm so happy for him. Like, it sounds stupid to even say, oh, I'm so proud of him, because it's like, it sounds so condescending, but it's not like that. It's just, I'm so happy for him because he's doing very, very well. And he's very adamant and constantly growing psychically. He's just like he was a workaholic in life. He's just like that even in the afterlife. He's grown so fast. He's grown so fast. I'm really happy for him. It's like true. I used to watch some of teachers on the freaking app that I consider to be like a mentor and have so many issues or problems I'm trying to sort out to this day. It's from years ago, considered. Yeah, I understand that, Kat. I do. That's one of those things. It's like you should never idolize anybody. Even these people in the spiritual community, they want to be worshipped. These people want to be worshipped. And it's crazy that people were always accusing me as like a cult leader. And I'm like, one, cult leaders actually make fucking money. I don't make a goddamn dime because I do everything, a lot of my shit for free. But also, even when I started charging, people were still calling me a fraud, which was insane. And I'm like, oh, you're calling me a fraud because I had a near-death experience? There's a lot of people who have near-death experiences. And you're calling me a fraud because I'm psychic? Because I've actually predicted the death of so many fucking people in my life? Okay. You're calling me a fraud even though I've actually shown proof of a lot of my readings online, but somehow that shows the opposite. And somehow I'm a culprit or a fraud because I have 50,000 subs, but there are people who have 1 million subs and they're not frauds? Just tell me how that makes any fucking sense. It doesn't make any goddamn sense, and people are just retarded. That's kind of what I've come up with. But also, then I found that a lot of the people that were calling me frauds are actually people that are just butthurt, again, because I'm exposing their secrets, because a lot of those people are actually demonolators, and they don't like the fact that I'm taking those secrets and exposing them. And not them specifically as those people that have called me out, or at least they think they have, but it's these just the general secrets, these things that a lot of these demonolators, Satanists, these devil workers that don't want you to know that. And yes, there are a lot of witches that are devil workers, a lot of them. It's actually really shocking how many witches work with devils. I was actually really shocked to find out how many. It's one of the reasons why I don't have friends that are witches, because I don't have friends, period, but I don't trust a lot of witches, because a lot of them, I'm not saying all of them are like that, but I will say that's one great thing about the stellar community, and I just heard this, it's like my epiphany here. I am becoming more friends with people in the stellar community over on Patreon, and that's been wonderful. And that's actually developing friendships there. And to be able to say, like, yeah, we're becoming friends, I'd like to say, even on Patreon, and that is changing my perspective, and it's helping a lot. It's healing. It's very healing. But yeah, they probably paid for a lot of their subscriptions. I know, right? Yeah, and that's something that a lot of people don't stop and think about. A lot of their subscribers are paid, and they end up getting a shitload of subs, but then they wonder why they're still not really doing well, because a lot of them fake it to make it. And I always keep saying this over and over, but a lot of people don't want to admit it, because they're blinded by the followers, the numbers, rather than by the truth, by seeing the truth. And it becomes really sad because it's still the product of illusion. It makes me think about the modern approach, like when I think about like how people like Gandhi or other people like Buddha or certain spiritual figures like Jesus and other types of others, where they would talk about the illusions. And I start realizing that I think they were really also talking about the illusions of everyday things, not just the illusions of people you meet in person, but also the illusions of social media and the illusions of videos and internet and advertisements and presentations, music, songs, everything. And I think in so many ways that's become a very approachable phrase for so many people that I think needs to be talked about more and explored. But that's just my take on it. But guys, I think I'm going to go ahead and end this live now because it is midnight and I really want to get more videos on Patreon. I'm going to be taking a step back from YouTube and just focusing on Patreon probably for the rest of the month to, yeah, it's going to be a while. That's pretty much what I'm looking at because I still have another video that I had recorded that I need to edit for Patreon. So Patreon's going to get a new video and I'm really excited about it. But at the same time, I still have a lot of other stuff that needs to get done. So, but, excuse me. So yeah, I just want to get all that done. It's hard. True, it is sad. I say it's better to let success happen naturally and organically through hard work manifesting. I agree 100%, Kat. I completely agree. Kristen, have the angels ever told you about the Enochian language? They probably have, but to be honest, I really don't care about that. That's one of those things where it's like, I don't care. Just because there's more things that are more important than that. That's just my opinion, though. It looks like I'm getting spammed a shitload, and so I'm not even going to read that. What the cards are saying, you might walk in on your husband with another man. Well, that's funny because I don't have a husband, dum-dum. This looks like a huge spammer. If someone could block that person, that'd be appreciative. Nova, I think your content is as informative, just as good as Elizabeth April. I don't know who that is. I think she's doing well on here. I'm as being a shadow banned on here and things are hard for you on here. Yeah, I agree. I don't know who that is, but okay. Okay, but guys, I'm gonna let you guys go. I love you guys. Thanks so much for watching the live. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna be leaving YouTube and making everything official on Patreon. But I will be eventually slowly loading videos back onto YouTube, but they're gonna be much shorter content. But that's the end of this live. I love you guys, and I will see you guys eventually. But if you really want to see more stuff, like more exclusive stuff, you're going to have to join my Patreon. I'm sorry, that's just the way it's going to have to be. But I love you guys. Bye.